you're my favorite director, but I just seen something, and I gotta say, you know, ideas that certain ideas that never came to fruition that you had, and I'm saying this in the most respectful way because you're my favorite director, and Nolan is garbage and dull. But I gotta be totally 110% honest. I was seeing some stuff on Vero, and like I said, I think your execution. I don't care what anyone says. Your execution of the DCU is fantastic. I loved Man of Steel, loved BVS, loved everything. Suicide Squad, Justice League, Wonder Woman. But there's some ideas that I'm glad they never came to fruition. Because, example, if certain ideas, if they're never filmed, it doesn't count. Like, if you have a backstory of something but you never put it on film, it doesn't count. Like in Man of Steel, they had the backstory of Krypton, but they actually talked about it and filmed it. You know, they talk about Russell Crowe was talking about the civilization, what went on this civilization. They filmed it and they talked about it. But certain ideas, if you don't put them on film, they're just ideas and they never come to fruition. I was reading some stuff, and I'm sorry. Like I said, I love everything of Zack and the DCU. Nothing has ever really bothered me about anything in Zack's DCU except for one thing. And the one thing that bothered me in BVS was that they killed Jimmy Olsen. And people say all that BS about, oh, it's a spy and all that stuff. But until it's proven otherwise, that it was a spy named Talon or whatever, like they said, unless it's proven to be otherwise, then I have to take that was actually Jimmy Olsen. So unless they're gonna bring back Jimmy Olsen in the next Superman sequel, then I have to assume automatically that was Jimmy Olsen that got killed. So that was that one thing that really bothered me in BVS, that Jimmy Olsen got killed, and it pissed me off. And I'm glad for the announcement for the Nightwing movie, because I saw something. I'm starting to wonder if Zack Snyder, like, he was spitballing ideas, and maybe he forgot certain things or something. Maybe he forgot certain, because a couple of weeks ago he was talking on Vero, and he was saying that the tire scene with Ben Affleck was, one of the tires in that scene was Jason Todd's tires and everything like that. Was the tire he got from Jason. But then he says something today when there's a picture of, from BVS with Robin, with the staff and everything like that. He's saying something about, who says that's Jason Todd? He said, who said that's Jason Todd? Inferring that Robin might not be Jason Todd. Well, we know that not to be the case now, because they're making a Nightwing movie, so that's not Dick Grayson, but inferring that maybe he intended that Robin to be Dick Grayson. That's not cool. And I know that was in the original Wolfgang Peterson script. And the original Wolfgang Peterson Batman v Superman script, they killed off Dick Grayson. And I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid back then when I was reading it in the Wolfgang Peterson script. Because in the Wolfgang Peterson Batman vs Superman script, it was Dick Grayson they killed. And that was stupid. Like, they killed a lot of people. And the Wolfgang Peterson script was good, but they killed Dick Grayson. They killed Commissioner Gordon. Alfred was dead, and he was like via hologram, kind of like Batman and Robin. And Barbara Gordon was like the new commissioner in the BVS. But there was one thing that I don't know if he was fucking with people, but there was one thing that he said that I'm like, now that I know it, he said something else. I kind of wish I didn't hear that. But see, he didn't put it in the film, so to me it doesn't count. If you don't actually put didn't film. He said something about that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He said the reason why Wayne Manor was abandoned is because Thomas Wayne, he gave that lake house to Martha Wayne as a gift, and she appreciated that as a gift from her favorite architect. And he said that Bruce Wayne, at 18 years old, just abandoned the mansion and left it like that to decompose. I'm sorry. I'm glad it wasn't used. Like I said, Zack Snyder, you're my favorite director, and I respect you 100%. But that's some bullshit. Bruce Wayne would not, at 18 years old, leave that mansion to decompose at 18 years old. And so, what was he and Robin were just in the lake house as Batman and Robin, and it wasn't in the mansion? I just call BS on that. Like I said, Zach, you're my favorite director, but I'm glad there's some ideas that just stayed ideas. There's some ideas that I'm glad never got filmed, because now someone can add to that. They could say now that, oh, the mansion was burned down because something happened with Jason Todd and you know, a Joker and the whole thing, because that idea of him just abandoning oh, it was on Reddit. It was on Reddit about the Infinity War being humor. It was on Reddit. But because that just doesn't sit right. I know, it sucks. And that just doesn't sit right with me. Bruce Wayne at 18 years old just abandoning Wayne Manor and leaving it to decompose. First of all, that's way too young. He's not even Batman, and leave it to decompose like that. Nah, I'm glad that. So when certain things are ideas and they never got put to film, they don't really count. So those kind of ideas don't count. And the whole thing about the Robin being Dick Grayson, it was never put to film, so it doesn't count. It was left vague. So, like Zack Snyder, you're my favorite director. You still are. You always will be. But there's some ideas that were best left not used. What about Alfred? Was he mentioned? Alfred mentioned where? Alfred mentioned, huh? What do you mean? Was Alfred mentioned where? Well, mentioned there? I that scene about him being 18 years old. Oh, they didn't mention nothing about Alfred, but I have to assume Alfred wouldn't be cool or okay with that. That's kind of silly to me. Yeah, but like I said, I'm glad now, because they corrected course in a good way, not in a bad way. Because if that was gonna happen, I'm glad they corrected certain things. But like I said, I still would like Zack Snyder to come back. But if those were real ideas that he had, he should himself abandon those ideas, because he's a great director. But like I said, there's certain things that are cut out. Even when you do stuff yourself as a director, there's some stuff you realize shouldn't be in there, and it's like, nah, that's too much, and you back off and take it out yourself. Yeah, I agree. I'll do another one later because it froze.